I'm Minjay.
I'm Fernando,
I'm Eduardo.
and we're discussing today what to do with Iran and our next steps.
So, Iran is developing an extensive nuclear program with the stated goal of becoming self-sufficient in nuclear fuel production. The Iranian regime has the legal right to develop these facilities under Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, the NPT, safeguards as long as it remains in good standing with the IAEA and abides by its safeguards agreement as specified under Article 3 of the NPT. However, many members of the international community are deeply concerned that Iran is using the civil nuclear power program to conceal the development of nuclear weapons. The UN and the IAEA are making demands that they should abandon the program, but China and Russia are important trading partners with Iran and see them as no threat and see them as useful in balancing power out with the US, and they have veto power in the Security Council, so it is unlikely that the UN will really act. Through a liberalist theory that cooperation, often through international institutions, can avoid conflict, really wouldn't work in a solution to Iran. But looking at a realism's point of view, the US and Israel will pursue their own interests, which are similar, and combine powers to eventually outbalance Iran's own growing strength.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about why we shouldn't take military action against Iran. And so the first negative consequence is that military action would strengthen Iran's nuclear program. They would be encouraged to speeden up the process to help their own attacks against Israel and against the US. It would also have a devastating effect on the stability of the Middle East, which I'll talk about later. And it will also have an impact on Iraq. Iran is also is already thought to have several thousand intelligent agents operating in the Shiite region of Iraq, which means that if Iran were to be attacked, they would join up with their Shiite partners and attack the US and the UN coalition forces. Military action against Iran would also have would also bring responses to Israel, who Iran has threatened direct attacks on already. Also, Afghanistan would be affected by possible military action because Afghanistan's Shiite groups have links with Iran, which means that Iran would join up with their Afghanistan partners, like with Israel, like with Iraq, and attack them. And military action might lead to more terrorist attacks on the West because of the anti-Western and anti-American feeling that would be generated by such action. And there would also be tremendous economic impacts of military action, which is unsustainable with the current economic situation in the United States. The increase in oil prices would be devastating to the Asian countries to which Iran exports their oil. And there will also be environmental impacts which are not usually considered because they're not seen as important. And then there's a damage to people, the civilians. So these are the reasons why we should take military action.
Our group's policies is that we approach Iran in a multilateral negotiation where the EU, the UN, China, Russia, America, Iran, and Israel are all involved in the negotiation for trading of privileges so that they can establish a common interest. Our group's policies also state that we shouldn't engage in military action whatsoever. Our policies also state that Iran should guarantee safe conduct to all ships sailing in and out of the Strait of Hormuz. We think that to lift the economic sanctions on Iran should comply with a thorough inspection of all its nuclear reactors by American experts, which do not have any connection to the government, by European observers, and by the IAEA. We also think that Iran should comply with further measures so the rest of the sanctions could be pulled out. For the last point, for the situation to be cleared, Iran should make up a new election system so that the US, the EU, and the UN should agree upon it, and that's it.